Hey guys, welcome back. Appreciate you joining me. Just wanted to put another video out here of one of our more recent stops. We just had left Indian Lake Adventures Campground. It's a private campground near Indian Lake, of course. Its address is technically in Huntsville, Ohio. It's a 29-acre campground we had full hookups. They do have a lot of seasonal sites there, and then there's a handful down at the bottom of the hill that are for overnight guests. We stayed on Friday night and Saturday night and checked out Sunday. Checkouts at noon, but $65 a night there for full hookups. And they also have a brewery on site called Camp Brewing at the front of the property. I'll talk about that here in a little bit, but did take a little bit of a data on towing our camper with the Cybertruck, some of the watt hours per mile used and so forth. So when we had left Delaware State Park here in Ohio, and we had a short drive over to the grocery store. I don't know, less than 10 to 12 miles, I think. I'll put some image up if I have it, but I think we had average about 804.9 watt hours per mile, just to give you a reference with that. And then we had about 50 miles to drive the rest of the way to the campground, a little higher speeds, and I think we were averaging like 957 watt hours per mile or something along those lines. It was a short drive. I wasn't really worried about maintaining battery capacity. Of course, we had full hookups once we got to Indian Lake Adventures, the campground there, so we were able to plug in and essentially pull 32 amps and refill the truck within a few hours. But back to the Indian Lake Adventures, the sites at the bottom for the nightly rates were they were gravel. At least at some point they were gravel. There was some grass patched in between, but they were level. At least ours was. We didn't have to do anything with blocks or leveling at all, left to right horizontally, so that was great. And then there's a creek right behind our lot, and it was pretty low. I do think that probably in some of the rainy parts of the season it might get a little wet, potentially could get up into the campsite, but where we were, it was 6-7 foot low, lower than our campsite, so it wasn't a big deal. The playground, they had a few different areas, but they had a playground nearby. I'm not sure how old this campground really is. I think they've been doing improvements over the years. And the brewery,
I got a Harley Davidson.
The building that the brewery's in is definitely very new. But like, for example, the campground, the playground's great. It does seem a little bit dated, but you know, still functional, still something for the kids to do right there by the creek. There's a dog park, which is great. It was small, but with my standard poodle, at least she got to run off leash, and she enjoyed it. But it's on the hillside over there, and they had it fenced in. There was no other dogs there while we were there this weekend, so we didn't have to worry about having too many dogs or filling up the smaller spot, but it was fine. And Camp Brewing, I mentioned at the front of the property, there's a big, huge pole barn when you first come in to the campground, and it's called Camp Brewery. They have all kind of different beers, and it's essentially a brewery from what I can tell. And I think they do have another 1 or 2 locations, and maybe in Bell Fountain, and then maybe somewhere else. But we went there Friday night and got some pizza and had a couple drinks. Everything was great, seemed good atmosphere. They've got music playing, they've got arcades, of course. Outside there's a patio, they've got cornhole going, unique inside setup, kind of camping chairs, lawn chairs, uniquely set up. There's firewood everywhere. They've got these booths. We sat in one of the booths that looks like a tent, and ultimately just kind of a good vibe atmosphere. It wasn't very busy when we were there, but of course, like I said, they got the bar, the food, pizza. I think they have wings. They have some different appetizers, and then I mentioned the arcade. They had the one pinball machine, and then they had some, large block Jenga, and then they had some other things there, some throwing stars and different things for the people to play that wasn't even of charge. You could do a couple different things, but my son had fun, played a few video games, and yeah, that was at the front. We didn't go back Saturday. We thought about it, and I think they might even do some breakfast pizza out of that place, but we didn't get a chance to try it. But the dinner pizza was great.
Does that turn you on, Harley Davidson?
I thought it was really good. They also have up at the main building They have a camp store with food and snacks, of course, but inside the same building, they have a large indoor saltwater pool. It was about 80 degrees. We went up there Friday and Saturday. Got a little busy on Saturday, of course. It was pretty popular with kids. The weather wasn't super great when we were there, some rain and so forth, so the indoor pool really worked out. But that's up front, and they have part of the camp store. They have this big craft table. They have a table and chairs set up, and I think they do some different crafts for the kids at different times of the year. They also, by our nightly sites, they did have bathrooms nearby, and there was a couple of showers. They're a little old. I don't necessarily say run down, but a little old, and you know, they're there if you need them. But because we had full hookups, we weren't worried about having to use shower house, and we could just shower in the camper, of course, which is preferred if we can. They also had a laundry room up there by the pool house and by the camp store. The laundry room, I think they had 4 sets of washers and 4 sets of dryers with a change machine. They're okay. There, you know, they get you in a pinch if you need to do some laundry there. Overall, you know, just back to the private campground, Indian Lake Adventures, you know, if you're looking for full hookups and you want to be near Indian Lake and want to hang out around the brewery atmosphere on site, you know, maybe a good choice. We have stayed at Indian Lake State Park before, which was nice. We had a good time. I don't have any footage of that, but we wanted to try something different this round and check it out. But yeah, it's a good option if you want full hookups, look for a private site. And yeah, thanks for watching. Trying to work on where I'm at now. I'm actually at Kaiser Lake State Park. You can see Kaiser Lake in the back here. Work on getting some footage here. So far so good. It's a smaller park here at Kaiser Lake, but real nice, quiet. The lake's actually no motor lake, so it's just a bunch of kayaks and canoes running around, but seems very pretty. I got some footage we'll put together, and I got some aerial shots too of the lake I'll put together on the next video. But thanks for joining and watching, and we'll see you next time.